my firstborn. Everything I did wrong was with him.
Years later from when this video was shot, it appears that another wrong thing has happened with Geraldine Mims and her firstborn, Big Jook. But this time, this wrong thing is the last one she and her firstborn will ever share. You probably already heard, but Memphis icon, Yo Gotti, just lost his older brother Big Jook in a shootout while he was returning from a funeral. What many people didn't know though, was what happened to Yo Gotti's mother during his brother's shootout. And that question seems to have been answered as a new source claims that she was actually with Big Jook in the car while it happened. You know what? Let's just dive straight into this dark, gut-wrenching story and be done with it. Did Yo Gotti's mom truly escape? Today, we focus on the jaw-dropping claims made by an internet blogger suggesting that Yo Gotti's mother was in the car when the incident occurred and fled for her life. According to the blogger, who goes by the handle The Neighborhood Talk, Yo Gotti's mother was present in the vehicle when the assailant approached and unleashed a hail of bullets. In a chilling clip that has since gone viral, the blogger reveals the harrowing events that unfolded that fateful day. They almost killed Yo Gotti's mom. I just want y'all to know that part. When they got to shooting, when dude ran up and starting busting and everything like that, and getting Big Jook, Yo Gotti's mom opened up the door and ran away. This will all later come out. What I'm telling you is 1000% facts. These shocking claims have sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community and have left fans and followers in disbelief. Social media platforms have been flooded with reactions, with fans expressing their concern for Yo Gotti's safety and urging him to take immediate action. A fan said, "They were after Yo Gotti. Angela needs to get away from him ASAP." Another added, "It's time for Gotti to move his immediate family away from Memphis. Can't even go to anything like this again without high-level security." The gravity of the situation cannot be understated. Yo Gotti's mother found herself in the midst of a violent and targeted attack, narrowly escaping with her life. These shocking revelations have raised questions about the rapper's safety and the need for enhanced security measures. The Memphis Police Department has confirmed the tragic death of Big Jook in a recent Facebook update. While the investigation is ongoing, Deputy Chief Paul Wright has stated that they suspect Big Jook was the intended target of the attack. In his own words, "We do feel like the individual that was shot was possibly targeted by the suspect." As we await further updates on Yo Gotti and the investigation into Big Jook's death, the hip-hop community remains on edge. Stay tuned for more shocking revelations and exclusive details in our upcoming Snapchat videos. In the face of adversity, Yo Gotti's resilience and determination will be tested. Fans eagerly await his next move and hope that he takes the necessary steps to protect himself and his loved one. Geraldine Mims was born and raised in the rough streets of North Memphis. Growing up in a neighborhood plagued by poverty and crime, she learned early on that survival meant being tough and resourceful. Speaking of his mom, Big Jook said, "My mom real big. She real known in North Memphis. She like our John Gotti, really, in our neighborhood. She supplied a lot of people in our apartment, so it was like she had that respect." As a teenager, Geraldine found herself drawn into the street life. She quickly became known for her street smarts, an ability to navigate the dangerous world she found herself in. Obviously, for all her sacrifice, Mama Mims is very important to her boys, and their ops know this. So it's no surprise that they've come after her more than once. Like that one time her restaurant was attacked. It was a night like any other at the Privé restaurant in Hickory Hill, Memphis. The atmosphere was buzzing with excitement as patrons gathered to enjoy a night of music, laughter, and good company. Little did they know that this evening would take a dark turn, plunging them into a nightmare they would never forget. Inside the club, the energy was electric. The dance floor was packed with revelers, moving to the rhythm of the music. Laughter filled the air as friends shared stories and created memories. But amidst the joyous atmosphere, tensions began to simmer beneath the surface. A disagreement between two groups quickly escalated into a full-blown altercation. Tempers flared, and the once vibrant atmosphere turned hostile. Security personnel rushed to intervene, attempting to defuse the situation and restore order. But their efforts were in vain as the situation spiraled out of control. Fueled by anger and a thirst for revenge, some of those involved in the altercation retreated to their cars. In a matter of moments, the calm of the night shattered as gunshots rang out, sending shockwaves through the crowd. Panic ensued as people scrambled for safety, seeking refuge from the indiscriminate violence. The sound of sirens pierced the night as the Memphis Police Department responded swiftly to the distress call. Officers arrived at the Privé restaurant, greeted by a scene of chaos and devastation. Two men lay motionless on the ground, their lives tragically cut short by the senseless violence that had unfolded. Investigators meticulously combed through the crime scene, collecting evidence and piecing together the events that led to this horrifying tragedy. Witnesses were interviewed, surveillance footage was analyzed, and the truth slowly began to to emerge. Kendrick Gray, Johnny Sanford, and Damone Joseph Sykes were identified as the alleged perpetrators of this heinous act. They now face a multitude of charges, including murder, attempted murder, and possession of firearms during the commission of a dangerous felony. In the aftermath of the Privé restaurant shooting, the community was left reeling from the devastating impact of the violence. As the victims were mourned and the injured began their long road to recovery, the investigation into the incident kicked into high gear. The crime scene was meticulously examined by law enforcement officials, determined to uncover every piece of evidence that would lead them to the truth. Detectives interviewed witnesses, analyzed surveillance footage, and collected forensic evidence, leaving no stone unturned in their pursuit of justice. Kendrick Gray, Johnny Sanford, and Damone Joseph Sykes, the alleged perpetrators of this heinous act, were taken into custody and now face a long legal battle. The charges against them paint a chilling picture of the events that unfolded that fateful night. In a press conference, law enforcement officials provided updates on the investigation, urging anyone with information to come forward. The community was called upon to stand together, to break the code of silence, and to help bring closure to the victims' families. The shockwaves of the Privé restaurant shooting reverberated throughout the community, leaving many questioning the underlying issues that led to such a tragic event. Community leaders, activists, and concerned citizens rallied together, demanding change and seeking solutions to prevent future acts of violence. A somber candlelight vigil was held in honor of the victims, bringing the community together in a display of unity and resilience. Tears were shed, prayers were offered, and a vow was made to remember those who lost their lives and to work towards a safer future. In the wake of this tragedy, the community rallied around initiatives aimed at addressing the root causes of violence. Youth programs, community outreach efforts, and increased police presence were just some of the steps taken to heal and prevent further bloodshed. As the legal proceedings unfolded, the courtroom became the stage for justice to be served. Families of the victims, along with concerned citizens, filled the seats, seeking closure and accountability for the lives lost and forever changed. Finally, after a long and arduous trial, a verdict was reached. The fate of Kendrick Gray, Johnny Sanford, and Damone Joseph Sykes would be decided, bringing a sense of closure to the community and the victims' families. But one can't help but wonder, if Yo Gotti's mom has been attacked this much, is it just a coincidence? Or is it a blood feud? Is this a blood feud?
Like, what makes their reason more valid than this young boy who just lost his brother?
Young Dolph, born Adolph Thornton Jr., had a challenging upbringing. Both of his parents were addicted to crack cocaine, leaving Dolph to fend for himself in the streets. He found solace in freestyling among his friends, but it wasn't until a life-altering event that he decided to take music seriously. In 2013, Dolph's collaboration project with Gucci Mane caught the attention of another Memphis rap icon, Yo Gotti. Gotti, whose real name is Mario Mims, had been in the rap game since 1996 and had established himself as a force to be reckoned with. In 2012, he founded his own label, Collective Music Group, CMG, also known as Cocaine Music Group. By 2014, Gotti had built a solid reputation in the industry, but his label still lacked signed artists. Recognizing Dolph's talent and potential, Gotti saw an opportunity to bring him into the CMG family. He reached out to Dolph and offered him a deal, hoping to add him to his roster of artists. However, Dolph had already invested a significant amount of work and money into his own career. He had built a buzz and a loyal fan base through his relentless grind and self-promotion. Dolph had a vision of creating his own empire, and he didn't want to ride someone else's wave. In an interview with Sway, Dolph explained his decision to turn down Gotti's offer. He believed that if he had accepted the deal, people would have credited his success solely to Gotti's influence. Dolph wanted to prove that he could make it on his own, without relying on anyone else's coattails. For the next couple of years, nothing significant happened between Dolph and Gotti. Dolph continued to grind and achieve success, going double platinum with his collaboration with OT Genesis. Meanwhile, Gotti decided to sign another Memphis rapper, Black Youngstar, and mentor him under the CMG label. The beef between Dolph and Gotti reached its boiling point in February 2016, when Dolph dropped his debut album, King of Memphis. The album's title seemed to strike a nerve with Gotti, who had previously referred to himself as the King of Memphis. Dolph made the beef official by taking to Twitter and stating, "Bra went from being my #1 fan and wanting to sign me to being my biggest hater #facts." Fans anticipated a response from Gotti, but instead, it was Black Youngstar who stepped up to defend his mentor. While Gotti remained quiet, Black Youngstar took to social media and called Dolph a derogatory term. He even went as far as rolling up to Dolph's neighborhood with a group of his friends, but the encounter didn't escalate into a serious altercation. The tension continued to escalate when Dolph aired out Gotti on Instagram, accusing him of hating on Memphis rappers and sending Black Youngstar to fight on his behalf. Dolph also accused Gotti of putting the police on him, further fueling the fire of their beef. The social media disses and public exchanges between Dolph, Gotti, and Black Youngstar only added fuel to the fire. fire. The feud became a spectacle, with fans eagerly awaiting the next move from both sides. In the midst of the beef, Dolph hopped on the remix of the track Ready by Trouble. His lyrics contained heavy references that fans linked to Black Youngstar's track Heavy, further intensifying the tension between the two camps. Dolph took direct shots at both Black Youngstar and Gotti, rapping lines like, "Any that record when it's time for gangster he the police and I your boss man, baby mama, same hotel for 4 weeks." The diss track showcased Dolph's unapologetic approach and his willingness to take on his adversaries head on. Black Youngstar responded with his own diss track, Shake Soom, where he called out Dolph by name and made derogatory remarks about him. The back and forth continued, with both sides trading insults and threats through their music. But the beef took a dangerous turn when Dolph dropped the music video for Play With Yo. The video depicted Dolph stealing a girl from a Gotti lookalike, a move that was seen as highly disrespectful. The provocative visuals almost cost Dolph his life. Just a day after the video's release, over 100 shots were fired at Dolph's SUV while he was in North Carolina. Miraculously, Dolph survived the attack because his vehicle had been bulletproof. Undeterred, he went on to perform Play With Yo on stage that same night, proving that he wasn't backing down from anyone. The shooting incident led to the arrest of Black Youngstar, who was initially charged with the crime. However, the case was eventually dropped due to a lack of evidence. The incident only added to the escalating violence surrounding the beef. Despite the shooting, Dolph refused to let it slow him down. In April 2017, he released an album titled Bulletproof, using the track titles as a message to those who had tried to harm him. The album's sequence, when read in order, spelled out a defiant message: 100 shots in Charlotte, but I'm bulletproof, so f them. That's how I feel, all of them. I'm so real. I pray for my enemies. I'm everything you want to be, SMH. The tension between Dolph and Gotti continued to simmer, with Dolph allegedly discovering Gotti's whereabouts in Los Angeles a few months later. When Dolph confronted Gotti, a fight broke out between their respective crews, resulting in Dolph being shot 3 times. Gotti's associate was initially charged with attempted murder, but was later released due to a lack of cooperation from witnesses. The shocking incident seemed to mark a turning point in the beef. Both sides realized the dangerous path they were on, and the focus shifted to their respective careers. Dolph's star continued to rise, and he signed his cousin Key Glock to his label, Paper Route Empire. Meanwhile, Gotti's CMG label expanded, signing new artists and working on his own music. However, before the beef could be officially squashed, tragedy struck. In November 2021, Dolph was brutally murdered in Memphis. 2 shooters ambushed him at Makeda's homemade butter cookies, firing over 20 shots and ending his life. Rumors immediately circulated, with some speculating that Gotti was behind the hit. However, as of now, there is no concrete evidence linking Gotti to the crime. The tragic manner in which Dolph's life was taken serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of the intense beef between him and Gotti. What started as a rivalry between 2 rap artists escalated into a dangerous and deadly situation. The loss of Dolph sent shockwaves through the rap community, leaving a void that could never be filled. In the wake of Dolph's tragic passing, the beef between him and Gotti seemed insignificant. Both sides realized the gravity of the situation and the need to move on from the animosity that had consumed them for years. The focus shifted to honoring Dolph's legacy and preserving his memory. Dolph's star had been on the rise, and he had recently signed his cousin Key Glock to his label, Paper Route Empire. Key Glock, whose real name is Marcavius Cathy, had been making waves in the rap scene and was seen as the next torchbearer for Memphis. With Dolph's guidance, Key Glock continued to carry the legacy forward, ensuring that Dolph's impact would live on. Meanwhile, Yo Gotti's CMG label continued to expand and sign new artists. Gotti himself remained focused on his own music and business ventures. The tragic end to Dolph's life served as a somber reminder of the consequences of feuds in the rap industry. Or did it? Of course it did. Since Dolph's death, bodies have been dropping like flies. As investigators delved into the case, they identified several persons of interest, one of whom was Joshua Taylor, also known as CEO Teasy. Taylor's name emerged in February 2022, when he was named as a person of interest in the young Dolph murder case. But who was Joshua Taylor, and what was his connection to the murder? Taylor was wanted on multiple charges, including theft of property and possession of a prohibited weapon. However, he had not been directly charged in Dolph's killing, and his involvement remained a mystery. Investigators were keen to uncover the truth. They wanted to know if Taylor had any knowledge of the events surrounding Dolph's murder. Did he know the whereabouts of Justin Johnson, one of the alleged shooters? Or did he possess any crucial information that could lead them closer to solving this heinous crime? The investigation into young Dolph's murder was a race against time, with the hopes of bringing justice to the beloved rapper and closure to his grieving family and fans. But little did anyone know that the story would take another shocking turn. Just when we thought the young Dolph murder case couldn't get any more shocking, a new development has sent sent shockwaves through the community. Joshua Taylor, the person of interest in the case, has met a tragic fate. Family members have confirmed that Taylor was found shot to death inside a car in Memphis. The circumstances surrounding his death are still unclear, leaving investigators with more questions than answers. Taylor's demise has left a void in the investigation. He was thought to have been a friend of Justin Johnson, one of the alleged shooters charged in Dolph's killing. While Taylor was never directly charged in the murder, investigators believed he may have had crucial information that could have shed light on the events of that fateful day. The police had hoped to learn from Taylor if he knew Johnson's whereabouts at the time of the murder, or if he possessed any knowledge that could have led them closer to the truth. But now, with his untimely death, those answers may forever remain a mystery. Taylor's death has sent shockwaves through the community, leaving many wondering if it is connected to the young Dolph murder case. Was it a coincidence, or was there something more sinister at play? If anyone had any doubts about sinister moves, Black Youngstar's brother's death was enough proof. Tragedy struck when Tomanuel Benson, the younger brother of Black Youngstar, fell victim to a senseless act of violence. Witnesses recount a chilling scene near a Valero BP gas station, where Benson was struck by multiple gunshots fired from a passing vehicle in what can only be described as a ruthless drive-by shooting. Despite the swift response of emergency services, Tomanuel Benson was pronounced dead upon arrival at Regional 1 Hospital. The news of his untimely demise sent shockwaves through the community, leaving family, friends, and fans devastated by the loss of yet another young life to the epidemic of gun violence. As the news spread, Black Youngstar, known for his raw and unapologetic lyrics, took to social media to express his grief and anger. In a series of heartfelt Instagram stories, the CMG artist poured out his emotions, paying tribute to his beloved baby brother and vowing to make the world pay for this heinous crime. With each word, it became clear that Black Youngstar's pain was transforming into a burning desire for justice. He declared, "I love you, my baby brother, rest up. I'm gonna make the world pay. I swear to God, nobody's safe. Standing over everybody, for life." Black Youngstar's message was not one of seeking sympathy or condolences. Instead, he cryptically stated that he was ready to face whatever consequences may come as a result of his future actions. He defiantly proclaimed, "I'm ready for whatever come with this. It's okay, don't feel sorry for me. I'm not going to feel sorry for nobody. Only God knows." This devastating loss marks the third time that Black Youngstar has had to endure the pain of losing a sibling to the horrors of gun violence. In 2016, he mourned the death of his brother Ronnie B, and in 2019, his elder brother Heavy Champ TD was also tragically slain in a shooting in Miami. Black Youngstar understands all too well the impact that these losses have had on his life. But now, fueled by grief and a fierce determination, he promises to ensure that his brother's killers feel the weight of their actions. He firmly believes that he is the strongest man in the world and vows to make sure they feel him. Black Youngstar's world has been shattered by the loss of his younger brother, Tomanuel Benson, to a brutal act of violence. As he mourns this devastating loss, he is consumed by a burning desire for justice. Black Youngstar has made it clear that he will stop at nothing to avenge his brother's death and ensure that those responsible face the consequences of their actions. With an unwavering resolve, Black Youngstar has declared that nobody is safe. He has taken it upon himself to stand over everybody, vowing to make the world pay for the pain he has endured. His message is a chilling warning to those who believe they can escape the repercussions of their actions. The impact of gun violence is a devastating reality that Black Youngstar knows all too well. This is not the first time he has experienced the pain of losing a sibling to such a tragedy, yet he remains resolute in his pursuit of justice, fueled by the strength he finds within himself and his faith in God. And if this is a blood feud, then we got a sack. When is this community going to be free of this curse no one asked for? When does it end?
His brother ended up losing his life. Savage, how do we stop that cycle?
21 Savage, known for his raw and unfiltered lyrics, recently expressed his belief that the cycle of violence can never truly come to an end. But what are the reasons behind his shocking revelation?
I don't think that ever would stop. It's just my opinion. Like, people been killing forever. That's just life.
21 Savage's perspective may be grim, but it forces us to confront the harsh realities of our society. He argues that people are killing each other for nothing, with no valid reason to take someone's life, whether it's fighting over territory or seeking revenge. The motives behind these acts of violence are often senseless. As we witness the devastating impact of violence on communities around the world, it's hard not to question why this cycle continues. 21 Savage challenges the notion that people are still fighting over blocks, but rather, they find reasons to harm one another. It's a disturbing truth that we must confront. The 21st of May have also dropped a hint that Big Jook's death was over some sort of beef with someone who had been lost someone they loved too. Shannon Sharp suggested that it may have been territorial beef, but 21 quickly cut him short, saying,
If somebody kill your brother, like, what can stop you from wanting to kill their brother?
seeking revenge.
Sharp finally got the message. 21 Savage continued by questioning what gives some individuals the right to kill legally, while others are condemned for seeking revenge or defending their loved ones.
Like, what makes their reason more valid than this young boy who just lost his brother?
You probably know who he's referring to here, don't you? While the amount and frequency of violence may fluctuate over time, 21 Savage believes that as long as human beings exist, violence will always be a part of our world. It's a sobering thought that challenges our hopes for a peaceful future. And another high-profile name, Big Jock, takes it a step further by suggesting that no one really can tell who's after Yo Gotti because he's been in the game so long and made so many enemies along the way. It could be anybody. As the news of Big Jook's tragic death reverberated through the hip-hop community, rumors and speculations began to swirl. People were desperate for answers, hungry for any information that could shed light on the events leading up to that fateful day. The circumstances surrounding Big Jook's death were shrouded in mystery, leaving room for wild theories and shocking allegations. The prevailing rumor remains the possible connection between Big Jook's murder and the death of young Dolph, which had occurred over 2 years prior. The theory suggested that Big Jook's murder was an act of retaliation, a so-called lick-back for the death of young Dolph. However, it is important to note that these claims were purely speculative and lacked concrete evidence. The truth behind Big Jook's death remained elusive, and it was unfair to jump to conclusions without proper investigation. The hip-hop community was divided on the matter. Some believed that the two incidents were connected, pointing to the ongoing feuds and rivalries within the industry. They argued that the cycle of violence and revenge was an unfortunate reality in the world of hip-hop, where disputes often escalated to tragic ends. Others, like Big Jock, however, cautioned against making assumptions without factual evidence. They emphasized the need for a thorough investigation and urged the public to refrain from spreading baseless rumors. They argued that attributing Big Jook's death to young Dolph's murder without concrete proof only added fuel to the fire and perpetuated a cycle of violence and vengeance. Amidst the speculation, it is crucial to remember that the truth may be far more complex than what meets the eye. The dynamics of the music industry, with its rivalries, jealousies, and personal disputes, can often cloud the truth and make it difficult to discern the real motives behind such tragic events. Big Jock says that Yo Gotti has been in the game for over 2 decades, and that it's impossible to not make enough enemies that may want to hurt you in that time. Therefore, it is also important to consider the possibility that Big Jook's murder may have had nothing to do with young Dolph or his associates. Personal conflicts, jealousy, or even unrelated disputes could have been the underlying factors behind the tragedy. Jumping to conclusions without proper evidence only serves to perpetuate a narrative that may not align with the truth. The silence surrounding Big Jock's refusal to discuss his brother's death added another layer of mystery to the story. People questioned the reasons behind his silence. Was he protecting someone? Did he know more than he was letting on? The unanswered questions fueled the curiosity of fans and industry insiders alike. In the aftermath of Big Jook's death, the hip-hop community was left grappling with a sense of loss and frustration. The cycle of violence and tragedy seemed never-ending, with talented artists being gunned down in broad daylight. The narrative of success and fame was overshadowed by the harsh realities of the streets, leaving many to question the price of fame and the toll it takes on those who achieve it.